I know I have no fucking right and no credentials to justify me having this kind of uh, arrogance, thinking that I have a right to ask these questions. But when Ben Bernanke gave us testimony regarding economic and financial conditions in the federal budget on June 9th, 2010, what does this mean? Right here, where it says, but looking through these temporary movements, underlying housing activity appears to have firmed only a little since mid 2009, with activity being weighed down in part by a large inventory of distressed or vacant existing houses and by the difficulties of many builders in obtaining credit. Were they all, was this a tacit announcement or acknowledgement that the underlying housing activity had to do with what? The derivatives market? And were they preparing the material foundations for using the Affordable Care Act and people that would then be considered distressed assets, including people that needed psychological treatment, and evaluating their performance and compliance with the program, whether or not to determine the activity, the underlying housing activity, in order to supplement whatever would be determined to be the creditability or the viability of the housing market. So let me ask you, when someone like me goes off her meds and refuses to comply with a predetermined programming regime where I'm supposed to be completely subordinated to nothing more than underlying activity for other people's houses, and then I refuse to comply with an attempt to reprogram me years later, did that actually have an impact on the housing market? Did it have anything at all to do with intentionally manipulating the public record about what was actually the credit situation and the mortgage market conditions at the time that I was reporting on being kidnapped? So if I had said that they did a great job and they helped me with my distress, then that would have given a higher value to the providers of the services to that underlying asset. And then what? We'd have a better housing market. And so then we would be able to have a different adjustment of the economy. How many people went off their meds? How many people said it was Medicare fraud and you just sat on it? And so now there's been this accrual of default against sureties connected to health insurance. And so that plan you had to flip all of those medical devices and all of those accusations of fraud concerning medical devices so that you can blame the Russians again, that didn't go so well, did it? Is that what we're dealing with now? Did he? I've only on the third paragraph. Are there any 10-year projections in this discussion?